was not able to find a Birkat Hamazon that was really easy. So they told me, Toby Holtzman sent me one that she had used for Women's League, and it was kind of marked up. So, but that's what they are using for Women's League. So that's what we'll use. So our end of Musaf, although we don't do, because we finished with Aleinu last week, right? Did we finish all of Aleinu 2 weeks ago? I think that we did. So one prayer that I thought we would explore is Hatikva, because it's not something that we normally recite in the service, but I feel like it's something we should know the words to. So a little background on Hatikva. Let me bring it up. And I apologize that I don't have information on Birkat, but I will get that for next week. So Hatikva means the hope. Theodore Herzl despised the song and tried to replace it. It enjoyed an unusually broad grassroots support. In 1878, Naftali Herz Imber, a Jewish poet from Zolochiv, which is now Ukraine, supposedly wrote it. In 1882, he immigrated to the Ottoman-ruled Palestine and read his poem to the pioneers of the Jewish villages there. The melody from Hatikva derives from Laman Tovana, a 16th century Italian song composed by Giuseppe Cenci, Giuseppe del Beato, as well as other songs that use this widely recognized melody. It also served as a basis for a number of folk songs throughout Central Europe. In 1887, Samuel or Shmuel Cohn, at 17 or 18, who was a resident of Rishon LeZion and had a musical background, sang the poem by using the melody that he knew from Romania. And he made it into a song after witnessing an emotional response from Jewish farmers who heard the poem. Competitions were held to decide on the anthem for the new state by the Zionist organization as early as 1898, but they didn't like any of them and didn't approve any. It wasn't until the 18th Zionist Congress in Prague in 1933 that a motion passed formally adopting Hatikva as the anthem for the Zionist movement. The British Mandate government briefly banned its public performance and broadcast from 1919 in response to an increase in Arab anti-Zionist political activity. Spontaneously, it was sung by Czech Jews at the entrance to Auschwitz, to the gas chambers. When the State of Israel was established in 1948, Hatikva was unofficially proclaimed the national anthem. It actually did not become the official national anthem until, you ready? November 2004. Wow. When an abbreviated and edited version was sanctioned by the Knesset in an amendment to the Flag and Coat of Arms laws, now renamed the Flag, Coat of Arms, and National Anthem Law. In its modern rendering, the official text of the anthem incorporates only the first stanza and the refrain from the original poem. So who knew? But I thought that was interesting that, yeah, Robin?
Can you mention the town again that the poet was from?
I can.
Was it Zlochev?
Zolotiv, I'll spell it for you. Zolochiv, Zolochiv.
That is the town where my family is from.
Wow.
Yes, it's Zlochev, yeah.
Amazing. And you know, this was like one of these songs that everybody knew a version of it. So how appropriate that then became the national anthem, that everybody seemed to have ownership of it in some way. But I just was flabbergasted it took so long to become the actual, you know, approved national anthem, but you know, government. So let's take a look at Hatikva. Let me know if you need it bigger, if this works. Is it good? Okay. So let me get a few more of you on my screen here.
Bigger would help if you could.
Bigger would help. All right, then I will have to do it a different way. Give me a moment. I will not present it, and instead I will just try to make it bigger. Give me a minute to mess around with the screen. How is that? A little bit blurry, but is that okay?
That's fine with me.
Okay. And we'll scroll down as we get there. So Hatikva, would someone like to read the first paragraph for us?
It's so weird reading it because we all sing it off by heart.
And you'll be surprised how many words you think you heard.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
Thanks, Helene.
Okay. Kol od balevav penima nefesh Yehudi homiya ulfaate mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia.
Good job. Thank you.
Yeah.
Would someone like to read the second paragraph? Thanks, Robin.
Lo avda tikva tenu, ha tikva bat shna alpayim.
Take a look at that shin word
Yeah.
again.
Shinot alpayim.
Good.
Liyot am chofshi be'artzenu Eretz Zion Yerushalayim.
Good job. Notice the second to last line, third word in. Robin pronounced it chofshi, but it looks like chafshi. Notice the vowel underneath is bigger than, doesn't look that much bigger than a one above
No.
it, but
No, it doesn't.
but it becomes ho, not ha, when the vowel is made bigger. Nice job. Would anybody like to try a paragraph?
Don't all shout at once.
I know everybody's so excited.
All right,
Giving you the-
I'll do the first one.
Thank you, Corinne.
Kol od balevav penima nefesh Yehudi homiya ulfa te
Try it again.
ulfa te
Good job. I didn't hear the second ah. Good job.
Mizra kadima ayin letzion Sophia.
Nice job, Corinne. Would someone be willing to do the last paragraph? Thanks, Lori.
Od lo avda tikva tenu hatikva bat shenot al payim lehiyot am hafshi.
It's actually chofshi.
You said that before, sorry. Hofshi.
It's okay.
Ba'ar Seinu. Eretz Sion Viru Shalayim.
Good job, Lori. Did anybody else want to turn to read either paragraph? Okay, I just want to make sure everybody got a chance to read who wanted to. Let's see what it says in English. Someone like to read it in English? Charlene, thank you.
Hatikva, the Hope, Israel's national anthem. As long as the Jewish spirit is yearning deep in the heart, with eyes turned toward the east, looking toward Zion, then our hope, the 2,000-year-old hope, will not be lost to be a free people in our land, the land of Zion and Jerusalem.
Thank you. Wonder what's going to happen in 1,000 years. They're going to have to change it to 3,000. We got time. It's a beautiful
You won't be
poem.
around to hear.
You're right. I won't be around to correct them.
Right.
Nice job. Any other comments or thoughts about Hatikva? Susan,
As long as the eyes of the Jew looks eastward, does that infer then that people aren't actually living in the land of Israel?
I was wondering that same thing.
Yeah, that's just
Because-
seems funny.
Because if they're living in Jerusalem, they don't have to turn their eyes.
No, they
But
don't.
maybe they wrote it with a more global view of all
Yeah.
Jews.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had the same thought.
Also, Israel is a free nation now.
True. Just gives you this historical references.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
I wonder if there's a different translation. And I also wonder, does anybody know a national anthem that's easy to sing? Because ours isn't, this one isn't.
Nope. And I'm a little bit jealous because I was fortunate. I've always grown up with in Israel, but I'm always jealous of those people who put their hand on their heart and sing this from memory. And I can't do that yet. I don't sing it enough. I guess as kids, we had to sing the national anthem a lot and at ball games. I'm just not there yet, but maybe one day. Any other comments?
I usually have to sing it at functions, and I'm really grateful to see that I have not made that many mistakes.
Good job. So I want to go back. I promised I'd look up a couple things and talk to my rabbi. Why we sing Sim Shalom sometimes and why we sing Shalom Rav other times. No particular reason that my rabbi knew, except when you look at Leif Shalem, there's a whole lot in the preliminary between Pazuke and Shacharit. There is a lot of liturgy out there. And when they decided to create the liturgy, to compile the liturgy, how do you decide what to keep and get rid of? So they didn't get rid of much. They kept it all. And they could have either kept Sim Shalom or kept Shalom Rav, but they kept them both and decided which ones to use when. One is not more special than the other. It's just, they couldn't get, they're Jewish pack rats. They couldn't get rid of anything. So they kept it all. Then the Shva conversation, which I wish I could remember what prayer we were on. Utsadaka. I want to say we were asking about a lot of shvas, but I don't think it was Aleinu. It had the word Utsadaka in it, so I don't think it was Ein Keloheinu, because that doesn't have it. Anybody see Sadaka?
What was the last prayer that we did?
Aleinu. But I remember it being on the first page of something. That's why I kind of feel like it.
Debbie,
Huh?
I
Yes,
think it's in Sim Shalom.
thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 line down.
We get there.
There is Utsadaka there.
Well, it would be helpful if I shared the page. Okay. So for the word Utsadaka, and there was another one. That is Utzdaka. It is not Utsedaka. It's, oh wait, maybe he said the other way. Utsadaka. So, now I'm trying to remember what he said. It's been 2 weeks.
Utzdaka.
It's not a prefix, he said. I can't remember now, but it's,
It should be.
It should be, it's Uts doc, now I can't remember. I have to go back and ask him again. Because I can't remember now what he said, because he told me and I did not write it down. So I will find out for next week which one
So
it
the-
was.
The question is whether you say the sound under
Or not.
the tzadi.
Correct. Which I'm thinking that you don't because it's two vowels in a row. Utzdaka, uvracha, as opposed to utsedaka, uveracha. He says
Um,
it doesn't really matter. It doesn't change the
Right.
meaning.
right.
So that was his.
And I've been meaning to make a comment from my chazan, who is a chazanit. She's female. she's Israeli, and I listened very carefully weeks ago. She doesn't say ein Elohim. She says en. So as I've said many times, I think those little fine things, if you're interested in Hebrew grammar, then you actually have to really take a class in Hebrew grammar. And this week I was learning the name of some of the vowels because a class I'm taking is biblical Hebrew. We're doing the Breshit. And I sent you guys some of the vocabulary sheets and a whole article of it. And it's the Masoretes threw the vowels in. They weren't even there from before. This week he even talked about one where it had to do with the dot in the middle of one of the ones that has a pair, either pay and fay or tav and tav or whatever. And he said that first of all, in the Torah, there are no vowels. There are no vowels in the Israeli newspaper. So vowels are, I'm sure they have different pronunciations because nothing is really that fixed unless you're looking at an actual grammar book and taking a grammar class. But for us regular folk, personally, I would be saying utzedaka. I wouldn't be saying utzdaka.
So we say it, and then somebody who's maybe more knowledgeable might point it out if you're reading Torah, but probably not. Thank you, Helene.
Probably not.
My son told me once that the dot inside of the tav had something to do with the fact that at one point, Arabic and Hebrew were almost the same. We were living together and speaking very similar. So my son really struggled when he took Arabic because he kept thinking it was Hebrew and pronouncing it like Hebrew because it was so similar sounding on so many of the letters. And that dot inside the tav is left over from when the languages used to be closer and more combined. So it doesn't necessarily mean anything today. It's just still there. So Helene had a request for a prayer that I thought because I have it on this slide. And it is the prayer that we say when comforting a mourner, which in my shul is done on Friday evening, generally before Kabbalat Shabbat. I have to honestly admit that I don't go very many Friday nights because we usually have friends over for dinner. But is this too blurry? Or are you guys
It's
okay?
just too small for me.
Too small. All right, let me see what I'm afraid it's going to be blurry, but we'll see how it looks.
That only affects the vowels for me.
So let's see if we go a little bit bigger.
Yes,
Is that better?
it's good for
Okay.
me.
So when
At
mourners
our synagogue, they only say this after family that's coming back after Shiva.
Right,
So we
the
do
mourners-
right.
So that's interesting. It
Which
says
is
in
every
the week
week.
of Shiva, but every synagogue has their own customs. So do you stand, Helene, at your shul when they enter?
No,
Okay. That was the
At
big
our
question
shul-
at the wedding.
At our
Well-
shul, they did stand. And it's before Kabbalat Shabbat, as you said. And we were taken outside and then brought in at that point.
Yeah, that was the big question. I leaned over to my husband at the wedding and said, are we standing or not? Because, you know, when traditionally the bride enters in a Jewish wedding, you don't stand, but a non-Jewish wedding, you do. Well, my daughter-in-law's father isn't Jewish. So that side of the family stood, so everybody stood. So,
There you go. Go with the flow.
so would someone like to read this prayer? It's Nihum Avelim, which means, I don't have I got to slide over, comforting the mourners. Would someone like to take a crack at it? I see everybody like getting close to the screen. I can't read that.
Yeah, I'll try it if you want me to.
Thanks, artist.
Hamkom Yachem at
Hold on, let's go back. We got to fix a couple letters. Try again.
Hamachom.
Yeah,
It is a little blurry. Yanechem,
good.
et home, batom,
Chem.
Hold on, it's etchem.
Yeah.
et
It's
chen, I'm
dots,
sorry, batom.
Look at the
oh.
ending.
Betoch, Sha'ar, Avole, Zion, Yerushalayim.
Good. And the next line?
Oh, Main, Hashamayim, Im, Tanuchamu.
Good job. Does anybody else want to take a try on that? It's brand new wording for all of us.
I would like to.
Okay, Helene.
And like I say, the vowels are what get very blurry. Okay, hamakom yenachem etchem bitoch sha'ar avale, or I can't tell if it's dots or lines.
I'll have to check it after when I bring it back down to size.
Okay, Avele, Sion, Yerushalayim. Mean, the only part that I ever do is the Yerushalayim part. They say it so fast, I catch up at Yerushalayim. Mean Hashamayim, Tenuchamu.
Nice job.
What does Tenuchamu mean?
Let's look. All right. Would someone like to read it in English?
I'll read it.
All right.
May the divine comfort you, along with all the other mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. May you find comfort from heaven.
Tenuchamu is heaven, apparently. A word for heaven. I'm going to pull this back.
So what's Hashamayim?
Oh, that's true. Min Hashamayim. So Ish Hashamayim is heaven, must be comfort. Oh, Nachamu. So what holiday was it? Right before Tisha B'Av, I did a family service and there's a song Nachamu, and it means comfort. So Tenuchamu is comfort.
Okay.
I had to make that connection. So you were asking Helene about, let me take it down a little bit more, see if we can see it.
With the vowel.
Avale. I believe it's
It's an
avale. Yeah.
Okay, avale.
Sorry, this was the only picture I could find of it. Did
That's
anybody
excellent.
did anybody else want to try reading it in a larger font? Okay. So we are going to leave that slide set, and we're going to move on to Birkat Hamazon. How many of you have ever sung Birkat Hamazon?
Yeah.
How many of you have ever led Birkat Hamazon? I was going to say you're braver than me. When I taught I was begged once to teach 6th grade for a year. I said, you've got to be kidding me. I don't do older than like third, 4th grade is the oldest I would ever go. And they said, we'll do anything. And I was pregnant with my daughter. I said, will you pay for a babysitter? Because you have to. They said yes. And my babysitter was expensive. So I made the deal that I would come, but I would not come to services and breakfast beforehand. So I could be with the kids longer in the morning. And one time they asked me, I came after breakfast to lead Birkat. I said, I don't know it. So I have since learned it. I'm not sure that I am good with all the leader parts, but we'll have a go with it. So it was really, and if any of you had kids go to Jewish summer camp. So it's wonderful when they've got all the hand motions and the chants, and my daughter taught me a couple of interesting things they say. I'll bring those up when it's appropriate. So here is the beginning, and I will tell you, actually, let me stop and show you this now. If you want to practice this, there is a recording on Women's League. So let me bring it, I'll show you how to get to it. So if you want to practice this on your own, okay, hold on a second. Why it's not coming up, I don't know. All right, here we go. So you go to the Women's League screen and you come up to the upper right-hand corner and you log in. Hopefully you have either your email address or your member ID and a password. And if you forget your password, they will send you a way to reset it. And when you log in, your screen will look a little different than mine, but you go to download member materials. And if I only remembered where it was, let's put in, what am I looking for?
Shir Hamalot.
No, we're looking for
Birkat Hamazon.
Okay,
Oh,
we got
my
a
God.
couple options here. No files found. Thank you for that. And if it cannot be found, I will find the recording. All right, so it's supposed to be here.
That's maybe not under member documents. Is there an education?
True. It may
Oh, there is
be.
an education one.
Let's look under this way, see if it comes up. Learn and lead Birkat Hamazon. And they will take you through all of it. There's a
Wow.
PowerPoint, and then here are all the tracks, and the tracks will follow exactly what we're doing. So just so you know, if you say, hey, I want to practice track by track, it's there. So back to our previously scheduled program. So here's how it starts. On Shabbat and festivals, you recite Birkat Hamazon, starting with Shir Hamalot. Is this big enough, or, well, let's put it big and see. How is the size on that?
Perfect.
Well, it would be good if it was the Hebrew. There we go. Good size, or do we need larger?
Good.
Fine.
Okay. Would someone like to maybe start? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Would someone like to maybe read to right here on the third line to the period? Eile. Someone like to start at the beginning? Thank you, Susan Hall.
Up to just a minute. Shir Hamalat, Beshuv Adonai et Shavat. It's different singing it.
Yeah.
Zion, Hayenu, Kachol Mim, Az Yamala, Sehok Pinu, Ul Show. I'm just actually using a card at home. Ul Show Ninu Rana
Look at
Oz,
that word one more time.
Rena.
There you go.
Oz, Yomru, Vig, Vig, Va, Goyim, Ig, Dil, Adonai, La Asot, Im, Allah,
Look at that word again.
Elah.
Good job. Whew, that was good. All right, would someone like to finish the last 3.5 lines and then we'll go back to what we were doing before. Somebody takes this half and then they flip. Would someone like to be Susan's partner in crime?
Try.
Thank you, Andrea.
Starting with Hig,
Yeah,
Higdeal, Adonai, La Sot, Imanu, Hayinu, Semechim, Shuva, Adonai, Et Shevitenu, Fikim, Banegev.
good.
Continue or?
Yep, continue to the end.
Hazor im bidim a birina yik zoru hal haloch
Good.
yelech uvachi no acho
Good.
no say meshech hazara bo yavo virina no say lu mitav
Look one more time at that last word.
lumotav.
So close. Didn't have the O above the man before. Alumo.
Lumotav.
Good job. You know, they're not long words, most of them, but it's just not words that we generally use. A couple of them we hear in prayers. Would anybody like to try it? Be a partner?
I will.
Okay, Helene and Terry.
Yes.
Helene, do you want to go first? Oh, wait, we didn't switch. Hold on. Did you, Andrea, want to do the first half and Susan do the second half?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
So I start.
Yes, ma'am.
Shir Hama'alot Vishuv Adonai et Shivat Zion Hayinu Wait a minute. Meme?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that. Az Yimalale Sechok Pinu Ul Shodnenu Rina. Keep going.
Yep, to the next period.
Okay. Az Yomru Vagoyim Hig Deal Adonai, La Shot.
What was that? Say that word one more time for me.
La Sot,
Yep.
Im A Le.
Good job. Susan, would you pick up?
Ig Dil Adonai La Sot Imanu. Hi. Ayinu. Sikhim.
Read that one more time.
Mechim.
Good job.
Shuva Adonai et Shavitenu. Ka Fikim Ba Negev
Yes.
Ha Zurim Ba Dim'a Ba Rina Yik Ziru
Try that again.
Yik Zoru
There you go.
Alech Alok Yalech Uvacho Ni Se Me
Take one more look at that word again.
Ni So Ni
Look at the vowel with nun.
No say
Yep.
Meshech Zare
Haza.
Ra
There you go.
Hazara Bo Yavo Verina No Se El Lumo Tov.
Good job. Do we want to have more? Are you interested in reading, everybody taking a turn to read this paragraph, or reading further paragraphs taking turns? I just want to give everybody a chance who wants to read this one. Terry, do you want to read this one?
That would be good.
Okay.
Either way would be fine with me.
All right. So why don't you and Helene, right, are the next set of partners? So we'll
Right,
have two sets of partners on each part of the prayer. All right. Go for it. Who's going first?
You want to go first, Terry?
That's fine. Shir Hama'alot.
Good job.
Bush Shu Adonai et Shivat Sion Hi Nu
Try that one again.
Hi Yanu
There's a dot under the first yud.
Hi
The confusion is the first yud is actually separate from the ha. It's
Right.
not, the vowel underneath it doesn't go to it. So it's ha, ye, 3 syllables.
Hi Nu.
You got it.
I knew. Thank you. Kahomim. As Imale Hok. P Yanu.
So there's no that extra line, don't even worry about it. Put the pay and the yud together.
Oh, okay. Pinu,
Yep.
O, sh, ro, name, new.
Try that one more time. There's an extra letter you put in that's not there.
Oh,
It's an O's vowel. It's not a resh.
O, show, name, new.
Good job.
Rina,
Yes.
as, Yomru, Boogie, Big. I'm sorry.
That's all right. We've all got one.
Where am I?
We've lost you. Your camera's turned off. There you are.
Am I in the beginning of the third line?
Yeah, yes, you second word.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Okay, Yomru, Bag, Go, Yim, Hig, Deal, Adonai, La, Asot, Im, Elech.
Nice job. Super, Terry. Helene,
Brava.
last word,
Yeah.
third line.
Higdil, Adonai, La'asot, Imanu, Hayinu, Samechim,
Yep.
Shuva, Adonai, et, Shevitenu, Ka'afihim, Banegev, Hazurim, Bedim-a, Berina, Yiktsru, Halok, Yelech, Uvacho, Nose, Meshech, Hazara, Bo, Yavo, Verina, Nose, Alumotav.
Excellent.
Debbie,
Let's, yes.
Debbie, how do I remember the difference between sh and sa?
Okay,
If
people,
it-
I've
if
been told
it's-
not to teach it this way, but this is what I like. If the dot's on the right, it's a shin. If the dot's on the left, it's a
Sin.
sin. Is it right to do a sin? No, it's
No.
wrong to do a sin. It's not
Right.
right. So if
Right.
it's not on the right, it's not a shin, it's a sin. You're not supposed to do sins. They're not right. That's the easiest
On
way.
the right, it's a sh.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay.
Now,
thank you.
this-
It's so confusing sometimes.
And it makes a lot of sense if you're an adult. If you are a 5 or 6-year-old that doesn't know left from right, it makes no difference and I don't know how to help them. Because if you don't know left or right, then it makes, then you can't really talk about where the dot is because to them, it's the same. They know it's on a different side, but they don't know which is left and right. So I don't make a big deal of it when they're little.
Thank you. It helps.
You're welcome. Let's see what we're saying. Would someone like to read the English? Thank you. Go ahead. Robin,
Me?
sorry, I had my screen.
Song of Ascents. When God restored the exiles to Zion, it seemed like a dream. Our mouths were filled with laughter, our tongues with joyful song. Then they said among the nations, God has done great things for them. Yes, God is doing great things for us, and we are joyful. Restore our fortunes, O God, as streams revive the desert. Then those who have sown in tears shall reap in joy. Those who go forth weeping, carrying bags of seeds, shall come home with shouts of joy, bearing their sheaves.
Interesting.
Mm.
Thank you. Any thoughts about this?
I think it's just one translation.
Yes, correct.
I don't, because that's not the translation I'm looking for.
This is the one that some of them were with the Women's League materials and some weren't. So I had to go searching for some.
Could this
But-
be seen, Debbie and group, could this be seen as a preview to actually giving thanks? In other words, where they're remarking on something that was done. People went out in sorrow, came back, in happiness. And therefore, we're now going to praise God for whatever he has given us, and depending on what the rest of the translation is.
That's how I would perceive it.
Because
We
I was thinking the Bekat is actually saying thank you for giving us this food to eat, but nothing in this translation is saying that.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So it does say our mouths were filled with laughter, our tongues with joyful song, because we got to come back to Israel. But yes, it's leading up. We can't, as Jews, we can't do anything direct and straight, and we can't have happiness without knowing sorrow either. So how many of you have sung this before? Would you like to give it a try? Should we sing this page? Because we have a few minutes left. It won't let me go. I'm going to have to stop and go backwards because it doesn't seem to want to let me go backwards. So give me a minute and I will reshare it. So we shall try it. All right. Here we go. Shir Hama'alot Beshu Adonai Et Shivat Zion Hayinu Kecholmin Az Yimalek Sechok Pinu Ushonenu Rina Az Yomru Vagoim Higdil Adonai La'asot Im Ele Higdil Adonai Lasot Imanu Hayinu Samechim Shuva Adonai Et Shivitenu Ka'afikim Ba'negev Hazoreim Bedima. Did I say that? Berina Iksoru Haloch Yelech Uvacho Nose Meshech Hazara Yavo Verina no se alumotav. Nice singing. I heard a little bit in the background. So everybody sings this to start it off. Andrea?
Are there different melodies for this?
I imagine there are. This is the only one I've ever
No,
sung.
because when we sing, I mean, I can't sing it, I don't know it that well, but I feel like ours is quicker and more upbeat.
Well, oh, definitely. Normally it's Shir Hamalot Beshuv Adonai et Shivat Zion. I was going it slowly.
It just sounds,
Anybody know a
okay.
different tune?
Just sounds different. I'm gonna
I have
ask,
to,
I'm gonna ask.
I'll
our
have to investigate another, see if there's other tune.
That is the pretty standard one that I mean, I always put my daughter in charge. She went to 1 week of camp one year and came home and knew this, and that's the melody she uses. And she's always in charge because nobody else knows it.
I'm gonna ask our cantor. Was it,
Please do. I'd love to know.
okay.
So
I-
next week, we
We're
will
all set.
work on the leader and the response. So we'll take turns. Somebody will be leader, somebody else will be responder, and get through this. I mean, it's a lot, but hopefully you'll feel a little more comfortable, because I know people have complained that the rabbi goes so fast. The rabbi goes fast. You know, I try to be very cognizant during Mourner's Kaddish to go slowly, because not everybody who comes on for yard site is a regular at services. So, you know, and when kids do beer cut, they fly through it because they're used to it. So my kids were always the ones that were called up for Friday night after the dinner to say it, because most people don't know it. So